So for lunch today, I'm going to make some pumpkin soup. The decision was made for me when I found this bit of a sad looking pumpkin in my pantry. And rather than waste anything, as we're trying very hard not to at the moment, I thought I'd make soup. Quite often I just make it in a pan on the stove, but I then thought about the people working from home and how you might not have the time to just stand there and watch it. So I thought what we'll do is we'll actually roast the pumpkin off in the oven with the onions as well and the garlic. We're going to slice it up, because the worst part about dealing with a pumpkin is trying to peel it. But if we roast off big chunks of it, we can then pull the flesh out really easily in about 20 minutes. So less work is always a good thing, right? So I've got 2 onions. I've got 2 cups of stock, which may not be enough, but we can always make more. I've got some Thai green curry paste and some coconut cream that I had in the pantry. So it's all about pantry items. So I'm going to slice up the pumpkin in thick slices. Mine's a bit of a funny shape because I took a few bits off that are a bit wonky looking, but that's fine. The rest of the flesh is good and firm, as you can see with the struggle I'm having trying to cut it up. And I've got a tray in the oven with hot oil heating up in it. I've got the oven on 190 fan bake at the moment, because I've been doing this for a long time. Got those slices. I'm going to cut the onion just in half, both of them, and we'll just pop the flesh out when they've been cooked through. And then I've got my 4 cloves of garlic. I'm leaving those whole as well because they'll go beautifully soft. We'll pop those in. So I'll just put those things down there. Get my oven glove, get my tray out. Hot oil. And then we just lay these pieces in the oil, like that, and the onions, and it should all fit on one tray. And then we'll just have a liberal helping of salt and pepper. You can add some spices if you'd like to, but there'll be enough flavour coming off of that Thai green curry paste. And then we're going to put that back in the oven. I'll get some salt. And we'll check it after 20 minutes and see how it's doing. You might need to turn the pieces over, but it gives you 20 minutes to go and do something else. So the timer went off after 20 minutes, and I've taken my pumpkin, I've got another tray in there, out to have a look at. Did the little test with the knife, and some of them are done and there's a few that aren't. So I'm going to put them all back in for another 5 or 10 minutes. And then take a look then. It's not going to be a problem if some of them are a bit over soft, because they're going to be smushed up for our soup. So I'm going to pop these back in for another 5 minutes. Right then, so it was actually, I left it another 8 minutes on my pumpkin. Just putting it there so hopefully you can see everything. I've got my empty saucepan, and I've got them out and they're all cooked nice and soft. I'm going to leave them to cool for a little while just to make it easier on my hands, but I'll show you how soft they are. Because here's the onion, and you're just going to pick it up if you've got asbestos fingers, and it's just going to drop out into the pan and leave you with a bit of skin. And the pumpkin, you're just going to cut round each piece and scoop it out, and then we're going to drop it in the pan, and we'll blend it all down with some of our stock, and then we'll start adding the flavours to it. So we'll just let that sit for a while so that it's easier to manage on our hands. Right, so I've got all of the vegetables that we roasted. I've got the skin off and popped everything in there. So there's the 2 onions that were baked off and 4 cloves of garlic, and then most of a pumpkin that I'd found in the pantry. So we're going to use, I'm going to use a blender, stick blender, but you can mash it with a masher. And I've got 2 cups of stock, vegetable stock I'm using. I'm going to add about half of that, just to make it easier to mash. lovely, lovely bright orange colour there. It's coming together nicely. So now I'm going to put the rest of my stock in because I don't think I'm going to get covered in it. So it's quite good. So a nice thick paste. And I've got a tin of coconut cream. You can use coconut milk, but I just happen to have coconut cream. And pour all of that in. And I've got a tablespoon of Thai green curry paste here, but I'm going to just put in a heaped teaspoon to start with, and we'll check for the flavour. We don't want it to be too strong. Right, and it's not completely hot yet, but I'm just going to taste it, because if you remember, I put the salt and pepper on the pumpkin when we put it into the oven to roast. And I have to say, it's really, really delicious. So what I'm going to do is just leave that for a moment. I'll heat it. It could probably take a tiny bit more salt, but I'm going to bring it up to temperature on my trusty stove. And then we'll taste again, and then I think it'll be ready to serve. But we'll just gently reheat it. Don't have it on too high a heat, because the likelihood then is that it will burn. So scrape all that off the edge. If you're not going to serve it all straight away, you can just take a portion and heat that for yourself and freeze the rest. But my house of hungry horrors, they're all going to get stuck into this, so it's not going to be a problem. So the soup's finished heating all the way through, and I've put a bit of salt on, and then I've got the juice of little limes that drop off of our tree. Just think it lends a little bit of something, a little bit of magic. I love citrus. I'm just going to make sure it's all blended through for the last time. One final taste, and we're done. That's really, really good. Now I'm going to just serve it into our bowl. This is also a gluten-free and dairy-free soup, so great for anyone out there with any intolerances. I've got a bit of cream. You can dress it up on the top. Just pull that through with a knife. And there we are, we've got our pumpkin soup flavoured with Thai flavours, all ready to go. I hope you give it a try.